A couple more questions about Coup, but I'm watching our time and it's just flying by.
Oh,
It always goes so much faster than when I plan it in my head. Another question I really wanted to ask you about Coup, and then we'll circle back to maybe libraries and start to think about calling it a day. But there are, I think, 3 different major adult characters in the story without getting into spoiler territory. And each of them has sort of a mini arc. And each of them is fairly well defined, particularly Tully. You mentioned, I know I can talk about Tully. You said her name. I won't mention the others.
sure.
Um, but what advice do you have about when you're writing a middle grade story about keeping your focus on our 10-year-old protagonist, because that's who the reader's going to gravitate toward, while fully fleshing out those adults and not cheating them?
Well, I guess I'm a huge fan of Cheryl Klein, who wrote this book. I can't remember the actual title of the book. I should have written it down. She wrote a guide to writing middle grade. It was really, actually, I think it's a collection of speeches that she gave at various conferences and some essays. But it includes a lot of ideas for keeping track of your minor characters in terms of writing out she has different checklists for writing out their backgrounds, so that you understand what their wants and desires are, and you understand their identities and how their interior values and their character traits fuel their reactions and actions in your manuscript. And I found that using her framework to fully flesh out, outside of the manuscript, separately on a piece of paper, these characters really helped me be able to draw on that for the scenes that these minor characters appeared in, so that their reactions were clear in terms of the reader understanding where they were coming from for each of their roles. So Cheryl Klein was really helpful. In terms of keeping the focus on the child character, Coup is in every single scene in the book, so that definitely helped. And she is fully active in her own stories. Like, the choices that she makes, she's not being swept along by the choices of these adults. Primarily, she is instigating a lot of the action on her own, and the adults are reacting. And there are other points where that's not the case, but in general, Coup is a very active protagonist.